this is Alicia and welcome back to my yarn podcast. So every week I decided that I want to do a tutorial Tuesday, and that will be this for this week. So this week I'm going to show you how to do the Hermione's everyday socks. So all I'm going to show you is how to do this pattern. I'm not showing you how to cast on the toe or how to increase until you get the necessary stitches that you need to fit your foot. If you want a tutorial on how to cast on the toe and how to do the increases, please leave a comment below and I will be greatly to do that tutorial for you. Also, if you want to know how to cast on cuff down, I can show you that as well. And if I have a lot of people that want me to show them how to do cuff down, then the next pair of socks that I make, I'll work it cuff down, and then we can go from there. So, like I said, I will be showing you this pattern, and if there's any other questions, anything that needs to be elaborated on, please leave a comment below letting me know. And if you do work on this pattern, please let me know that as well. I would love to see, your progress, or I would love to see what you use with this pattern, because it doesn't have to be socks for you to use this pattern. You can make this pattern on hats, headbands, blankets, whatever you choose. But if you do choose to use this pattern, please let me see your work. Use the hashtag Alicia Yarn Hermione, and I will put that show that hashtag up on Instagram, and I would love to see what you guys decide to do and how creative you make this pattern right here. So please stay tuned for the Hermione's everyday sock pattern. I didn't mention that the link to this pattern will be in the description box below. Like I said, this is not my pattern, so I want to make that clear too. This isn't my pattern, but the link where I got this pattern from is in the description box below. So if I'm not clear on anything as well, you can see the pattern for yourself, read the pattern for yourself, and follow along with me. This is Alicia from the Yarn Podcast. Like I said in my previous video, that I'm going to show you how I made this Hermione's everyday socks. I'm just going to show you the pattern. This is coming from someone who already knows how to cast on the toes, increase to the amount of stitches that you need, knit for a little bit, and then work the pattern. So if you want me to do a separate tutorial on how to cast on toes, increase into the appropriate stitches, then please leave a comment below and I will do that for you. Also, I am doing the pattern only on the front side. The back side is just regular stockinette. And so, without further notice, we are going to get started. So this is, like I said before, this is a 4-count repeat. I like to work on magic loop. Some people, you can do this on DPNs, or however you choose to do your socks. Like I said, I'm just showing you the pattern itself. So it's a 4-round row, however you want to look at it, repeat. So first row, and what I'm doing also, I am making a border. So instead of me going straight into the pattern, I'm having 2 stitches that's knitted on the front, back, side to side, just to kind of give it a little border so that it's not just automatically going into the pattern. So I am knitting my border. Alright. And if I get out of focus, please excuse me. The way that the tripod is set up, it is kind of difficult me looking. So just please work with me on that. So the first row states that we knit 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we purl 1. I will show that again. We knit 3 with stick the needle from left going to right, wrap the yarn around, bring up a loop, 1, do it again, 2, do it again, 3. Now to purl, yarn forward, stick the needle through, wrap around, and back. Knit, purl 1. And so you just repeat that down until you go to your next border. If you choose to do a border, that's totally up to you. Like I said, I just like how it looks when I do a border. You don't have to necessarily do a border, and you don't have to necessarily go and just do one side either. You can do the back if you want. I just prefer to have my pattern stitch on the front of my socks. So all I'm doing is knitting 3 and purling 1. And then I'm knitting 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm purling 1. To show you again, just in case it wasn't clear, knit, wrap the yarn, pull it up, 1, do it again, 2, 3, and then you purl, bring the yarn forward, stick the needle through, wrap it around, and you pull it out. And so now I only have 2 left, so I know that that's my border. Excuse me. Make sure you bring the yarn back if you're knitting, and then knit across. So now with magic loop, being that all my needle or all my stitches is on this needle, I flip the needle over. I pull this cord to bring this needle around these stitches. So I just pull, 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 and then now I take the needle that's holding the stitches I just worked and I pull it out, and then I push these through the stitches that now I need to work. So I just push them forward, bring my yarn, make sure that it's not inside, making sure that it's not inside where the needle is, but it's on the outside, right? And then now with this one, with this side, all I'm doing is knitting. So I just knit across. Okay, now that I'm back, I just finished this. All I do is just turn again, pulling the cord, making sure that my yarn is on the outside, pulling this. Because see, this, being that it's a long cord, it gives me room to, move around, with this. So it gives me room to kind of just work with these stitches. And normally, like I told you before, I work with 2 at a time, so I would have another one right here. But I decided to do things differently. I'm still kind of working 2 at a time, but I'm just working them each on separate needles. So now we just finished round 1. So round 2 and round 4 are very easy. All you do is just knit across. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to knit across. So I'm going to knit across here, turn it over, knit across here, and then I'll meet you back so we'll be able to start round 3 together. Coming up on my last 2 stitches, just plain knitting, and now I'm ready to flip it around, pull my cord, okay, hold my stitches and pull this needle out, and now I'm ready to start round 3. So all I'm doing is pulling my stitches across this needle. Depending on your tension, these needles can kind of be tighter on the needle and you may struggle with it, but they still will slide and things like that. You just have to work through it. With me, I have a tighter tension than normal, so I'm kind of used to it and work around it. Like I said, as you go, if you are new at this, at knitting, you'll learn your tension and your gauge and things as you begin to knit. So now, pulling my needle, and I'm going to start round 3. So I'm knitting my border, which this only did 2 stitches on each side for a border. You can do 4, you can do 6, depending on how many you have as far as how many that you had to increase for your toe. I had to go up until 64, and so with that number and what numbers is with the Hermione's everyday socks, it works perfectly when I do 2 and 2 on each side. So round 3 is a little different. Instead of knitting 3 and then purling, you're going to knit 1, you're going to purl 1, and then you're going to knit 2. And that's the repeat. So knit 1, which technically, if you want to look at it, you're knitting 3 and then purling like we did in row 1. But this first stitch of the pattern, you knit 1 and then you purl 1 and then knit 2. And so now we just knitted 2, so to repeat the step, it's knit 1, which will technically be knitting 3, purl 1, and then knit 2. And you just repeat that all the way around. Knit 1, purl 1, and then knit 2. And I'm going to repeat that all the way until I get to my border, where I'm going to knit 2 because that's what I chose to do, and then I'm going to knit this side. And I also want to show you that sometimes it's hard to see, like say, I just did this and then I put it down because now I want to either watch a movie and pay attention to it, or I'm going to sleep, going to work, I have to make a quick store run, and when I pick it back up, it's like, dang, I don't remember where I left off in the pattern. So a way to see what stitch you did, you see how this, let me see if I can get a pointer for you. I'm gonna just get a pen. So you see how this right here is very smooth, so you know that you just knit it, right? But if you come over and you see this bump right there, you see that bump? That's a purl stitch. So you know you just purled. So if I look at it and I say, okay, I purled, so I'm supposed to knit, purl, then knit 2. So then now I'm ready to start the pattern repeat all over again. So I knit, purl, and then knit 2. And you see, purl bump, and then 2 knit stitches. And so that's just how you are able to determine where you left off in the pattern if you wasn't working this pattern all at once. And so now all I'm doing is repeating this sequence, and then I'm flipping and I'm knitting across, since I didn't choose to repeat the same pattern on the other side. And so I will meet you back when I'm ready for round 4. Okay? And also with this yarn, I've showed you guys before in my other video with information on it. So please, please, please make sure that you are watching the latest episodes and the oldest episodes that I've done, because I talk thoroughly on the yarn that I'm working and the project that I'm working as well. And so for more information on this yarn, please check out my other video. But I love that, you know, this is working up so nicely with the stripes, and I feel like the pattern is really giving the colors a good design with it. So I feel like this was the right design for these type of colors, and I'm just in love with how the colors are working up, and I can't wait to see once I'm finished the overall project. So like I said, I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to knit these stitches, and then I'll meet you back when we're ready for round 4. Once again, I'm finishing up this round, and I will be turning my work and getting my needles ready to start the 4th round. So like I said earlier, in the 4th round, we just knit across. Rounds 3 and 4, we just knit across. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Pushing my stitches up over this needle so that I can get myself in the ready position to start knitting. Making sure that my yarn is not coming through the inside, but is on the outside, because if it's coming through the inside, then you create what's called, you create a yarn over, and you don't want to add stitches. So make sure that if you are doing the magic loop method, you always have your yarn coming from the outside, because you do not want to create stitches that does not need to be there. So like I told you before, all I'm doing is just knitting across for round 4. Flipping my needle around, preparing myself to knit this. So I'm going to knit this round, but that just completes the pattern. So you just repeat. So you start back at round 1, where if you are doing a border, you knit your border, however many stitches you have for your border. If you're not doing a border, that's fine. You just go into the pattern, which will be knit 3, purl 1, knit 3, purl 1, and you continue until you get to your border. If you added 1, or you just continue across, like I said, if you want to have the pattern on this side on the back of the foot as well, you're free to do that. It's your project, it's your knitting. There's no right or wrong way in knitting, so you do however you choose fit. Then once you finish that round and you're coming back, then you just knit across. So you just knit across, and then when you come back for round 3, you knit 1, purl 1, knit 2, and then you repeat. Knit 1, purl 1, and then knit 2. And then once you finish coming around and you're coming back for row 4, you just knit across. And so that's all you're doing, and it creates these little bump areas. The purls creates these little bump areas, and the knit stitches makes it look like it's kind of like a 1x1 ribbing. But you know, it's just a nice, very nice texture. And I'm going to continue this up into the foot, then I'm going to start my other sock, because I'll show you the progress on here. I just got to the point where I increased to how many stitches that I need. And so this is how many stitches that I need to fit my foot. So then once I finish with this one, going right before I'm ready to do the heel, I'm going to start this one and get this one to the same length as this one, and then we're going to do the heel together. And I haven't decided which heel that I want to do with this, so please leave a comment below if you have any suggestions in mind. And thank you for watching this tutorial. So I hope that was helpful. I know some areas I was out of focus and maybe it wasn't clear on what I was doing. Please let me know, because the only way that I can get better is by your comments and, you know, letting me in your critiques. I'm very open for good critiques. You know, if you're going to critique me, have a alternative. So thank you for watching. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Hopefully you feel confident in starting your own either socks with this pattern, or doing another project with this pattern. Like I said, if you want other tutorials, please let me know on what you want me to do, and I will do those tutorials for you. Please leave a comment below, like this video, share it if you need to. Thank you for watching. See you Friday, because every Friday I'm doing a Flashback Friday. So that's, you know, flashback to all the stuff that I've been working on during the week. And Tuesdays I'm going to have Tutorial Tuesdays. So look forward to seeing more videos coming from me. Tutorial Tuesday and Flashback Friday. And thank you for watching, subscribing, and sharing. See you later.